who in that era of time were the DJs and stuff that you were kind of focusing in on?
Well, you referenced one, Jam Master Jay in the early 80s was a huge influence on me. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. JMJ forever.
DJs like Chuck Chill Out, Red Alert on the radio.
Yes.
98.7 Kiss. Then you'd move the dial to the right to WBLS and listen to Mr. Magic and Marley Marl.
Yes, absolutely. Salute to Mr. Magic. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Then who actually, a lot of people don't know, you're Puerto Rican, right? A lot of people don't know that Mr. Magic was Puerto Rican.
Yes, he was.
And he was the first Latino hip-hop DJ on radio.
And it was crazy at that point in time. He couldn't, he just had to be that. It wasn't like he could be, I'm the first Latino.
Well, I think back then, whether I personally feel from my personal experience with hip-hop, in the late 70s when, for example, at 8, 9 years old, when I was learning how to b-boy, that's how I started out in hip-hop.
Yeah.
I was a breaker.
Yeah.
Up until the point that I made the decision to start DJing, your ethnicity honestly didn't matter. It wasn't.
True.
It was. I remember I ran with a crew of kids in Jackson Heights, Queens. It was myself. They used to call me Rob Ski. My boy Joe Ski, aka Nay. My boy Little Ram, Romero. My boy David Soto, who's locked up right now, unfortunately. And we had this kid with us called White Boy Billy. So we had me, a Colombian, but when they first met me, they thought I was black.
Yeah.
3 Puerto Ricans and a white boy.
Yeah.
And we never had a conversation about race, ethnicity.
I think that's a Queens thing, too.
I think it's, honestly, I kind of think it's a New York thing. I think New York culture intrinsically is very diverse.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. That's what makes this city the epicenter of hip hop, is the diversity.
Yes.
So, my influences were multicultural and super diverse, from a Puerto Rican DJ in Mr. Magic to a Black American in Jam Master Jay. And I remember I'd also moved the radio dial over to the left and catch a college radio show, WBAU. At the time, they were called Spectrum City, Chucky D.
Oh, yeah.
Mellow D.
Yeah, I do
MC
remember
DJ
that.
Flavor.
Yes, I do remember that.
Became Public Enemy in the late 80s, but I used to listen to their radio station. I liked back then the fact that radio wasn't just commercial. Like, you obviously had 98.7 Kiss and WBLS, but you had these college radio stations that would debut a lot of the underground. Earlier, you guys were talking about underground. They would debut a lot of the underground artists that weren't getting played in the mainstream radio show. So there was another show, WHBI, with the world famous Supreme Team, and that would come on like around 2 in the morning on a Saturday, and you'd stay up from like 2 in the morning to like 4, and you'd be like 10, 11 years old, like taking in this music because, again,
that was the only time frame you was gonna hear it.
Right, that was the only time frame you were gonna hear it. So I feel like back then was important for me and how grounded I am in hip hop, because I was one of those kids making a physical effort to interact with the culture and experience it and learn about it, and then apply that knowledge to what I wanted to do within the hip hop culture, So those were some real pivotal years for me, and I'm better for it, and I think that learning and experiencing hip hop in that way allowed me to understand how to have the longevity that I've had